Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name's Ivana if you're new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. Today is Friday, August the 13th, and we're still talking about coronavirus here in Alabama. Now, we know yesterday there was a conversation hosted by the Medical Association of Alabama, and there was a doctor from Mobile on that conversation and from the South Alabama region. And he talked about how South Alabama, particularly Mobile and Baldwin counties, are not doing great in the fight against COVID. Now, we're going to get into some of those details here, some of that data in just a minute. But in the meantime, we have our own Tandra Smith outside of a testing site in Mobile. So before we get into these numbers and really dissect what is happening in Mobile, Tandra, tell me where you are and what you're seeing there.
Definitely. So I'm right now outside of the Mobile Civic Center. USA Health has been doing COVID-19 testing here pretty much since the start of the pandemic. This is a drive-through only testing site, but it's also only appointment only, and you have to have a referral to come here. So what you do is you go not directly here. This is where you would exit, but closer towards the other entrance of the Civic Center. You would go there and you show all your identification, information, and all of that. And then you go through and you'll get your test and you'll come out right out through here. It's very organized. I mean, they have up all these barricades, so it's very easy for you to know where you're going and like what you need to hold up, what you need to show officials and all of that. And there's been like a steady stream of people, definitely not like any long lines like there's been in the past, but people have been coming and going in all sorts of cars and vehicles.
Well, and I know it's interesting. You said you're actually at the part where you exit. So the part where you enter that testing site is on the other side of the Civic Center. So I know you're parked there where they exit, and we'll see them exiting here as they do. But when you were parking, was it busy on the front end when people were going in, or what was the flow of traffic like?
It wasn't too busy. I got here around about 10:40, but around 11 o'clock, about like I say 10:50 or so, there were about 5 or 6 cars heading to that entrance. So I'm thinking maybe that this is a type of place that gets really busy like during lunch or when people have a lot of breaks in the afternoon. But like I said, it hasn't been like those super long lines. Like there's no police people directing traffic or anything like that.
So, and it's interesting, we see some cars driving out from you behind you now. And again, that's the exit of this testing site. Now, to reiterate, I've got this pulled up from the county on my phone so I can read it to you. This is the Mobile Civic Center, and it did replace Ladd-Peebles Stadium as that testing site here. Now, again, it's a drive-through site, but as Tandra said, you have to have an appointment. So we can put that information in the comments here if you are needing that information. But Tandra, what is important about this and why you're at this testing site, we feel like we've been at these so many times over the past year because we have, and that is because Mobile County is not doing great fighting COVID-19. Now, I know you're out in the field. I've got some numbers here in front of me to kind of illustrate this, and this is from the Alabama Department of Public Health. And it states that yesterday, Mobile County had 635 new cases of COVID. Now, today's numbers haven't come out yet. Again, so that's from yesterday. Keep in mind, though, that's a big jump. You look at Jefferson County, which is the most populous county in the state. They added 470. Mobile, again, added 635, highest by a good amount. Baldwin County added 338. Now, total in Mobile County since the start of the pandemic in March 2020, there have been 55,371 cases and 906 deaths. Now, again, that's not adding today's numbers. Those have not come out by the time we started this broadcast here a few minutes ago. But Tandra, you're at that kind of part, again, where cars are leaving through that testing stadium. But something we should note is we did say it's drive-through, but you have to go through the Civic Center. So can you just explain a little bit about how that works?
Yes, for sure. So I kind of moved to a different part. This is also another exit that people can go out of. Like 2 cars just went that way. One is parked right now. But like you'll go through and you have to turn off your headlights. But it's actually pretty interesting how you're like driving through the Civic Center. Like it's weird to think about, like those are places where concerts are held and different conventions, and like they're also doing COVID-19 testing. It's just like a really weird concept to think about that like this place can be so versatile.
Yeah, I was looking again, and I'll leave this here. This is on Mobile County AL.gov. So this is the county's official website. They are talking about this Civic Center replacing Lad People Stadium as that testing site. And they say patients remain in their cars and they drive into the Civic Center for testing. So if you need to get tested and you get an appointment there at Civic Center, don't pull up and think you need to park and go in because you say, oh, I can't drive through that. They have it actually set up to drive through. And Tandra, you showed us a minute ago those iron barricades outside, and that seems to be there in case that these lines do get long and they have to direct traffic better. They have to corral traffic a little bit better, like we saw last year and in the spring of last year when everybody was flocking to those testing sites.
That's right. Yeah. So you can kind of see them set up like a little bit right here, but the majority are at the true exit, which is behind me, or the true entrance, which is also behind me. So it seems like they kept these up, like even though the amount of people trying to go get tested has dropped like dramatically. So it could be that they might be anticipating a lot more people starting to come in like the coming weeks, or they just wanted to keep it up just because they spent so much time setting it up, and why mess with something that works.
Right. Now, I'm looking at some of these comments here. This is an interesting one from Tabby, and I don't know the answer to this. You might, Tandra, because you are living in Mobile. Tabby says, is there still the testing site in the mall? Is this replacing the one in the mall?
In the mall? I don't believe so. I haven't heard of a place in the mall. Like if you're talking about like Bel Air Mall, like I've never come across that testing site, but I'd say this is probably one of the last like mobile like drive-through testing sites, but there's still plenty of other places at the hospital, at CVS and other pharmacies and things like that. You can still go get tested there, and most of those places don't require an appointment. So this is just like this is really unique as far as like needing an appointment and all of that. But there's still plenty of other places you can go and get tested for free and pretty quickly, like in under 15 minutes in certain cases. So you really just have to look around or go on the health department's website and kind of find a place that is closest to you. And the same goes for trying to get a vaccine as well.
Right. Those are good points. This is not the only testing site. This is just the one Tandra's at today. And it's kind of similar to things I know that we did in Central Alabama with these kind of mass testing sites, mass vaccination sites we saw. So there are still those ones in the pharmacies, in other smaller locations at the health department. This is just a big one at the Civic Center. Now, again, going through some of these questions, I have, I believe it was Judy. Judy, I'm sorry you missed our introduction here. This is one of our Mobile reporters, Tandra Smith. She is outside of the Mobile Civic Center where they are doing COVID-19 testing. And we were getting a look at how that testing is going, if it was busy, because we know Mobile County's not doing great in their fight against COVID. I say that, and this is the evidence to back that up. So far, and when I say so far, I mean, since spring of 2020, there have been 55,371 cases and 906 deaths in Mobile County since the start of the pandemic. Now, I don't have today's numbers in front of me. Those might have come out since we started broadcasting, but before this morning, so yesterday's numbers, there were 635 new cases added in Mobile County. It's a big jump from Jefferson County, which is the most populated county in the state, added 470. Neighboring Baldwin County added 338. So that's a big jump for Mobile County to add that 635. We also heard yesterday from health officials, including one who is the chief medical officer for Infirmary Health in South Alabama. That was Dr. William Admire. He said that they're worried in Mobile and they are hitting capacity in their hospitals. He stressed the importance of vaccinations. He stressed the importance of taking COVID seriously. And he said hospitals in that area, they're getting to the point where they're going to have to make some tough decisions. We also heard from Scott Harris, the state health officer, who said that state officials have been asking about the possibility of federal assistance when it comes to COVID-19 hospitalizations, which have been rising rapidly in Alabama over the past few weeks. So that's where we are today. Again, I don't have those numbers in front of me. I'm looking at, again, a question here was about if somebody should get the shot. I think it was Patricia with certain medical conditions. So Patricia, this is my advice to you. Number one, talk to your primary care provider, a local pharmacist, somebody that you trust. If you don't have one of those people, or if you just want some, maybe an expert, maybe opinion that you can't find online and you would rather us get it for you, we would love to do that. Send us your question to vaccines, VACCINES, that's vaccine plural, at AL.com. That's an email address where we're getting all of these COVID-19 vaccine questions. We're compiling them and sending them to experts. So it's great if you do not have a personal doctor or pharmacist that you have a connection with, but you still want an expert answer. We'll get that for you. We'll tell you who the expert is as well, so you have that information. So that's vaccines at AL.com. That is the email address. Now, Tandra, I know we see a little bit more traffic coming up behind you while I've been talking. So are you still at the exit of that testing site?
So I actually walked up to the entrance where people can go and get their vaccine. So this is actually both a place where you can get your vaccine on one end or go get tested at the other. There's way more people going to get tested as far as like cars and people coming in and out than that are particularly getting their vaccine. But right back here, you can see somebody is exiting right now, and they came out of the testing exit. So some of those people you were seeing earlier that were all the way up here were actually coming to get their vaccine. But like I said, this both getting your vaccine or trying to get tested, those are both by appointment only at this location. But this is not the case for the rest of Mobile County.
Got it. Having also somebody asking about those questions going to the vaccinesal.com. That has nothing to do with HIPAA. I'll go ahead and just put that out there. There is no shutdown currently in the state. I had some people asking that. There is no mask mandate in the state. Obviously, you are allowed to wear your mask where you want to and where you feel comfortable in it. There is no mandate in the state. So, Tandra, questions again too about Mobile. I know we talked about those other testing sites. How are the vaccination sites? Are there a lot of those in Mobile for people who have decided, look, I want to go get vaccinated now?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you could really just throw a dart at a board and, you can hit so many. Right behind me are people going to get their vaccine, by the way, in case you're wondering who was driving by. But CVS, Walmart, Sam's Club. So these big super centers, along with healthcare providers and all that, like you can go and get your vaccine at any time. And most of these places, you don't need an appointment, and there won't really be a wait because people just aren't getting their vaccines down here. Like I went and got mine like right when the eligibility opened up, and those were crazy. I had to drive like 30 minutes and go to CVS like outside of Mobile, but like those lines were crazy. And that was kind of the case for, I'd say, about maybe 2 to 3 weeks, if not a month, and then it really just kind of died out. So like I see signs in Walmart and other places all the time saying like, COVID vaccines, no wait, no line, they're available like whenever the pharmacy's open, whenever we're open. And I mean, like as far as down here, honestly, I'm surprised these many people are coming to get a vaccine because like I said, it's really not very big down here. It might not be the case across the state, but especially down here, it's very rare to even see people in masks. So
Right. And that's a good point. I'll put the map here. Our own data reporter, Ramsey Archibald, has done a great job at cataloging the counties and their vaccination rate by county, their vaccination rate within the last 7 days. I'll find those maps and put them in the comment thread here when we get finished. But as we heard from these experts yesterday, like Dr. William Admire, he was saying you've got to get vaccinations up in Mobile County in South Alabama to help with these COVID-19 hospitalization numbers. So it's interesting, Tandra, that you're seeing, maybe a little more people than you expected in that vaccination line at the Civic Center.
Mm-hmm.
And again, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to mention so there's 2 Walmarts that were closed Wednesday and Thursday. Like they've since reopened, but in their messages talking about the fact that they were closed for sanitizing and cleaning, they both mentioned the fact like if you had a like COVID-19 vaccine appointment, they were going to open up, like you would be able to get it today, Friday again, and then they were also opening up places on Saturday for you to be able to go and get it. So, like, just because people aren't getting it doesn't necessarily mean, like, you know, these places aren't trying their hardest to, like, kind of spread the word and get the message out there.
That's a good point, Tandra. That's a good point. We will have those numbers hopefully soon, maybe around lunchtime of the today's cases in Mobile County. Hopefully it's lower than that one yesterday of 300 or 600, 35. Somebody asked about reporting in the hospitals. And I will say that it's very difficult physically to report in hospitals. That is not something most hospitals have been allowing, and for very understandable reasons. Number one, for safety of everybody involved with the virus. You don't want somebody coming into a COVID unit in a hospital to report for both the safety of those patients, the staff members, the doctors, and the reporter. So there's a lot of logistics going on there. So we haven't been inside of the hospitals doing videos like this just for safety reasons, among others. Now, again, we're going to leave all that information about the maps, the counties, et cetera, and about the testing sites and the vaccine sites where you can go get your vaccine. We have one in Birmingham. It's actually at UAB. I was there yesterday at the Kirkland Clinic, and I believe that was day before yesterday. Sorry, my days are getting mixed up. And they're actually going to move a testing site up the street because they've had so many people coming in to get COVID-19 testing that they need more space and they need the ability to do more tests per hour. So make sure, things are changing so rapidly. If you are trying to get an appointment at this Mobile Civic Center where Tandra is located, make sure you get your appointment. Make sure you check it out before you drive over there. We would hate for you to get there and something have to be moved. So Tandra, we'll leave all the information for people to get appointments here. And also, I know we'll be checking in with you as well to find how this testing site is going and how the vaccination site is going as well.
Great. Yeah. Like I said, all the information's on AL.com. It's on the health department's website. You're really just going to get out there and kind of figure out where you want to get your shot, where you'd like to get tested, make an appointment if you need to. But all the information is out there.
Got it. We just in a question here from Tabby, and yes, these vaccines are approved for emergency use by the FDA. Dr. Scott Harris, the state health officer, said that at least one of those vaccines should have full FDA approval here in the coming weeks. We're going to leave all this information here. Again, if you have questions about the vaccines that you need answers to from a medical professional or a public health professional, please email vaccines, VACCINES, at AL.com. We will get you those answers from the experts. So, Tandra, thank you so much for giving us this view. Stay safe out there. Everybody watching, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll see you on Monday.